Let's start translating some sentences, and I'll give you a lot of examples, and hopefully it'll just pull everything together and this will click. Okay. Cartier does not make cheap watches. Well, let's use C to stand for Cartier makes cheap watches. If we want to say Cartier does not, we would just do that. Okay? Not C. Cartier does not make cheap watches, because if we didn't have the tilde, make the C Cartier does make cheap watches. The tilde does not. Okay? California, let's go to the next one, has a redwood forest, but Nevada does not. So C for California, N for Nevada, and we would translate that. See the but, this is a conjunction. So what is the main operator here? It is a conjunction. Up here it was a negation. So we know we're using the dot operator. Go ahead and write it down. And with these shorter compound propositions, what's on the right, what's on the left here, right? So this would be C dot N, not N, okay? California has a redwood forest, but Nevada has a redwood forest. Nevada does not. Go ahead and make that not N. So C dot not N, but the way you would pronounce this is you don't want to say C dot tilde N. You want to say both C and not N. Okay? So in the beginning, hopefully I didn't confuse you. If it says Nevada does not have a redwood forest, that's what's implied. Redwood forest is related to Nevada too. Go ahead and make that not N. So very simple, both C and not N. Okay? Either UC Davis or UC Boulder has a medical school. So we'll go UC Davis will be like a D and UC Boulder will be a B. Now we have an either or, so this is a disjunction. So go ahead and write the V down, and this is saying either UC Davis has a medical school or Boulder. So it's D wedge B, but don't you dare say that when you're pronouncing it. Say either D or B. Okay, both Harvard and Baylor have medical schools. All right, there's the and, the both tips you off. It isn't not both. H for Harvard, B for Baylor. I know it's a conjunction, so I'm going to put the dot down, and it's H dot B. Okay, let's go to number 5. See, these aren't that hard, are they? If red roses have an aroma, then so do yellow daisies. Okay, red roses are yellow daisies. It's an if-then. We know we're using the horseshoe operator because this is a conditional. It would be R horseshoe yellow, R horseshoe Y, I'm sorry, but the way you'd pronounce this is if R, then Y. Okay, 6. Red roses have an aroma if yellow daisies do. Now, I see the if, so I know we're dealing with a horseshoe. Go ahead and write it down, but remember our rule. Here's the if, so the antecedent follows. So here it's going to be Y horseshoe R, and you'd say if Y, then R. Okay? Don't say Y horseshoe R. That's just not professional. You want to say if Y, then R. Okay? All right? Just proper decorum and protocol here, right? Okay. Clint Eastwood wins Best Director only if Michael Caine wins Best Actor. So C for Clint Eastwood, M for Michael Caine. And remember, we have an only if. It's different than if. The consequent follows, so we know it's a horseshoe because of the only if. It's C, and just follow the same order. The consequent follows. C horseshoe M. Okay, let's go to 8. Shell Oil will hire more workers given that the government lowers corporate taxes. So Shell Oil is S. Given that the government lowers corporate taxes, we'll call that G. And here's given that. That is a synonym for if. So we know we're dealing with a horseshoe operator. It's a conditional. And what follows if? The antecedent. So this would be G horseshoe S, but the way you pronounce it is if G, then S. Okay, 9. Lindsay Lohan will check into rehab if and only if Britney Spears does. If and only if, biconditional, and you just translate it how it as it reads. It would be L, if and only if B. Okay? Let's go to the next one. So I'll turn my page here too as well. Okay, let's go up here. The Broncos winning most of their games implies that Peyton Manning is a great quarterback. Okay, it certainly makes sense now since I am videotaping this video clip, right after Peyton Manning was brought to the Broncos, so I'm always current in my examples. Okay, the textbook before had the Colts up here. Anyway, I'm digressing. Okay, B for Broncos. The Broncos winning most of their games implies that Peyton Manning, P, is a great quarterback, right? Well, implies you're dealing with a conditional, so go ahead and write down the horseshoe, and implies means then this. So it's B horseshoe P, and it just means if B, then P. Okay, 11. Honda will introduce a hybrid model only if Ford and Lexus do. Okay, so H for the Honda will introduce a hybrid model. Remember, the H stands for this entire proposition there. And F will stand for Ford will introduce a hybrid, and L will stand for Lexus. So since it's only if, we know we're dealing with a horseshoe. Now we're trying to decide what's the antecedent, what's the consequent. Only if we know that Ford and Lexus will introduce a hybrid, that's actually the consequent. So if we were going to symbolize that, it would be both F and L. So only if the consequent follows, that would be your consequence. So here we've kind of stepped it up a little in complexity, and H is the antecedent. So that's how you'd symbolize it right here, okay? And you would pronounce it if H, then both F and L, okay? Let's go to the next one. M for Mariah Carey, E for Elton John sings rock, D for Diana Krall sings jazz. And here you want to find out what is the main operator, and the way you're going to find that out is you have to be careful when you read this sentence here, okay? Mariah Carey sings pop, and either Elton John sings rock or Diana Krall sings jazz. Okay, so is this a conjunction or is it a disjunction? This is actually a conjunction, okay? Mariah Carey sings pop, and either Elton John sings rock or Diana Krall sings jazz. So it's going to be a conjunction, and this can be interpretive, and often it'll be clear. And because you have and either, you know, you're not going to have two connectives together like that. You're going to be dealing with the parentheses, okay? So this makes sense, if you're interpreting it correctly, to be this. Both Mariah Carey sings pop and either Elton John sings rock or Diana Krall sings jazz. Okay, so this is how you would do that. Okay, so that's for number 12. Let's go to 13. Either Peter Cetera sings ballads and Jackson Browne sings folk rock, or AC/DC, we'll use A for that, sings heavy metal. So first of all, you've got to read this on 13. What is this? Is this a disjunction? Is this a conjunction? But it looks like we're dealing with a disjunction. We got an either or, and it's going to interpret and read right that way. Either Peter, so we'll put down a little V, and now we're just trying to decide what is the disjunct that goes on the left and what is the other disjunct or alternative that goes on the right. Either Peter Cetera sings ballad and Jackson Browne sings folk rock, or AC/DC sings heavy metal. And the disjunct on the left of the wedge is going to be P and J. Either Peter Cetera sings ballads and Jackson Browne sings folk rock, right there, right? Or AC/DC sings heavy metal. Okay, so this would be the way you would symbolize this one. So you see how it's important to know what is the main operator. The main operator here, this is a disjunction. Up here, it was a conjunction. Okay, not both Ford and Chevy make motorcycles. Okay, there's the not both. What are you supposed to do? Tilde and parentheses. Okay, F for Ford, right? C for Chevy. Not both Ford and Chevy make motorcycles. So we got the not both. Actually, let's write it out here so you're not confused with me getting too cramped here. Okay, so tilde, parentheses, and then forget about the not both. And how would you symbolize Ford and Chevy make motorcycles? You would just go F dot C, and you would pronounce that. It's not the case that both Ford and Chevy. It's not the case both F and C. Okay, so that was number 14. Now let's go to 15 here. Both Jaguar and Porsche do not make motorcycles. So this is a both, it's not a not both, so we're going to have a conjunction. So go ahead and write down the dot operator. And it's saying both Jaguar and Porsche don't make motorcycles. So J for Jaguar and P for Porsche, but they're saying both don't make motorcycles. So it would be not J and not P. And you'd say this, both not J and not P. Okay? 16, not either Panasonic or Toshiba make sports cars. So not either, just follow the rules. Tilde, horseshoe, P for Panasonic, T for Toshiba, not either, there it is. Then forget about the not either. And how would you symbolize Panasonic or Toshiba make sports cars? Go inside the parentheses and just do P wedge T, and you would say not either P or T. Okay? Not either that P or T. Okay, here's one. What about this one? Neither Panasonic or Toshiba makes sports cars. Neither is a squished together not either, right? So tilde, parentheses, first step, and then Panasonic or Toshiba makes sports cars. You would just do that, and lo and behold, it's the same. 16 and 17 were translated the same because we want you to realize not either or is the same as neither. And actually, maybe that should be a nor. Neither Panasonic nor. Okay, let's do that. That would be a nor there. Or it could be an or, but neither Panasonic nor Toshiba. Okay, so that's my bad there. Don't worry too much about that. So this is how you would pronounce it. Neither T or, I'm sorry, P or T. That should be P. Okay. So this means neither or not either P or T. Okay. So this tilde out there is telling you you need to put a not into how you translate this. Not both, okay? Not either. Not either, okay? Here, either Panasonic or Toshiba does not make sports cars. This is either or, it isn't not either. Even though you have a not here, it's not connected to the either. So no tilde, no parentheses. You have a P for that, a T, but since it's Panasonic or Toshiba does not make sports cars, it's not P or not T. So you would just translate that not P or not T. Okay? And I think we got two more. Okay, here you're going to have to determine what the main operator is and what the meaning of this is, okay? If Saks promotes gift cards, then if Macy's puts on fashion shows, then Bloomingdale's puts on a clearance sale. Okay, it's obviously a conditional, but we've got to decide what is the antecedent and what's the consequent, right? So if Saks promotes gift cards, then, and it's clear when you read this, if Saks promotes gift cards, then, and the antecedent is a conditional, then if Macy's puts on fashion show, oops, I don't know where that came from. Okay, let me go back on that, and that. Okay. If Saks promotes gift cards, then if Macy's puts on fashion shows, then Bloomingdale's puts on a clearance sale, okay? So it's an if-then, and this, if Macy's puts on fashion shows, then Bloomingdale's puts on a clearance sale. That is going to be the consequent. If you tried to do this in a different way, your sentence will mean something different, and your symbolic language used and how you translate it, it will come out different. So it's very important what's the main operator, but here with this one, gee, I've got to figure out what is the antecedent and consequent. And we decided the antecedent is not going to be if S then M, then B. No, it didn't make sense. Okay? Here's one. If Bill O'Reilly spinning the news, that's B, implies that Katie Couric charms her viewers, then Paula Zahn has media appeal. Okay, we know this is a horseshoe operator. What is the antecedent? What is the consequence? So you got to read this. Okay, if Bill O'Reilly spinning the news implies that Katie Couric charms her viewers, then Paula Zahn has media appeal. This clearly will be the consequence. Okay, so this will be P. And over here, if Bill O'Reilly spinning the news implies that Katie Couric charms her viewers, then Paula Zahn has media appeal. Okay, hopefully there's several examples. This is how you translate ordinary propositions using symbolic language. Okay, and then we'll go to 6.2.